right, so here's the news that I'm not excited about. Some of you will be very excited by this. I am personally not, and I will tell you why. So you guys know I'm a big Respawn fan. I love Apex Legends. I love the first two Titanfall games. And again, I give them credit for the creation of Call of Duty Modern Warfare because they were the original Infinity Ward team that left Activision after creating Modern Warfare. I think they did Modern Warfare 2 and then they left. That was their last. That was the last like Respawn Call of Duty, even though they weren't Respawn at the time. Anyway, we know Apex Legends is a massive hit, right? And their first Star Wars game, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, was a big hit as well. EA really needed that because a lot of their Star Wars games had been misses, and Disney is no longer keeping the Star Wars license exclusive. They're letting Quantic Dream make a Star Wars game. They're letting Ubisoft make a Star Wars game. KOTOR is being remade. I don't think EA is publishing that either, right? I think it's Sony technically publishing it, maybe? I can't remember. Anyway, because EA has kind of squandered the license in many ways, they've expanded the companies that have access to the Star Wars license. But just yesterday, EA and Lucasfilm announced that they've put Respawn in charge of 3 new Star Wars games. So if you're a Star Wars fan, this could be a very good thing. You've got a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, right? That we all knew that was coming. That's previously announced. Not a surprise. What else are they making? They are making a Star Wars first-person shooter. It's a new studio helmed by Greg. I really don't know how to say this. I'm gonna butcher it. Forge, maybe. Oh no, that's Peter Hirschman is directing this other game, the Star Wars shooter, which that one has the most potential to me. The other game is a strategy game between Respawn and Bit Reactor. I don't know who Bit Reactor is off the tip of my tongue. I will have to look it up. So that means that Respawn, who was before only a one game studio, really 2, I guess. Once they were doing Apex and Star Wars, Jedi Fallen Order, whatever the heck they called it. I don't like Star Wars. You guys know that. I'm sorry. But now Respawn is making 6 games, or at least overseeing some of them. So they've got Apex Legends, which bear in mind is $1 billion property. And I don't understand why EA is not doubling down on it and letting Respawn put more resources into Apex, because we all know that Apex, compared to games like Fortnite or even Warzone, is content starved relatively. The balance is certainly a lot better than Warzone. The anti-cheat problem is certainly a lot better than Warzone. I'm not saying that Apex is a worse game by any means, because you guys know I love it and I think it's the best BR out there. But if you look at what Epic does with Fortnite, and I'm not saying I don't want Respawn to work on other games. That's not what I'm saying. I'll get there. Instead, what I'm really worried about is the EA's turning them into a Star Wars factory, and I don't want that. Licensed games, for the most part, there's very few truly great licensed games based on movies or television properties or comics. Most licensed games fall short. You know, Insomniac and Sony's Spider-Man breaks that mold. Was The Wolf Among Us breaks that mold. Much different style of game, of course. But, you know, historically licensed games are never, very, very rarely, like truly great AAA gaming experiences. Respawn is a studio that is certainly certainly capable of creating AAA experiences and quality games. I do have tons of faith in Respawn. Although their Medal of Honor VR game was not good from what I hear. We'll chalk that up to being it's a new platform, it's VR. It won a freaking Emmy or whatever it won. I don't remember, for best documentary. Maybe it was I think it was an Oscar. So now you've got Respawn doing Apex Legends. They're overseeing Apex Legends Mobile because Tencent is mostly developing it. Then they've got Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2. They got a Star Wars FPS. They got a Star Wars strategy game, and they have a new single-player IP that they're doing, which is a first-person shooter with high mobility, and it's single-player. It's not multiplayer. So my question here, well, I have many questions. This Star Wars first-person shooter, is this a single-player game or is it a multiplayer game? Because I swear, if it's a freaking single-player game, I'm gonna be upset. What Respawn does best, in my opinion, is fast-paced, high mobility shooters. And I want Respawn to expand into other things too. I don't want them to only do one thing forever, because that's when developers get burnt out. They want to try new things, and they feel like their creativity is being shackled, just like what's been happening at Blizzard, like I just talked about. And then they end up, you know, high quality people end up leaving. Tons of people just left Respawn, by the way. Tons. OGs, right? The co-founder, the community manager, like the creative director. Like I think it's like 60 or 70 developers just left Respawn. So here's my thought and my theory behind this. A lot of those people are leaving because they don't want to be a Star Wars factory, which is kind of what it sounds like EA is turning them into. You're going to work on Apex for the next 10 years, and you're going to make Star Wars games. I know they've got another IP that's in development, single-player IP. But let's say, you know, what Respawn's known for, their DNA is competitive, multiplayer first-person shooters. You're not going to be able to make a new one. Unless this Star Wars first-person shooter... My thought with this is, okay, if they're not... If DICE isn't making Battlefront 3, which has been confirmed... Maybe EA lets Respawn come in and make a new multiplayer Star Wars shooter. That I'd be willing to give a try. That fits Respawn's bill. I'd be down for that. I could even see like a new Rogue Squadron, but they kind of just made a new one. I forget what it was called. Not Respawn, but EA did. It was like a ship combat game. But I could see Respawn doing something like that, and I would like that. That would make me actually try a Star Wars game. I'm not a Star Wars fan, like I said, but everything that I'm seeing about Respawn here really scares me, because they're not a giant... Call of Duty has eight studios working on it to create the level of content that they do. Fortnite is Epic going all in on that game. All in. They're not working on other games. They're all in. Why isn't EA going all in on Apex? Why are they splitting Respawn up onto 6 different projects? They moved Vince Zampella, the founder and the father of Respawn. He now has to oversee Respawn and a studio that's working on Battlefield. I'm worried that they're spreading Respawn's talent too thin. I'm worried that they've lost a lot of their talent. Doesn't mean that the studio's done. I'm just saying they've lost a lot of their core foundational members. I would say why, right? Why is that happening? You would say, okay, some people just leave because, hey, it's time for something new. It's time for change. But a lot suddenly left in the past 3 to 6 months. That's not coincidence. Something happened, and I'm saying it's because they're being stuck on all these Star Wars games. And a lot of them sat there and asked themselves, do I want to work on Star Wars games for the next 10 years? For some people, it'll be a dream come true. A lot of people grew up with Star Wars, love Star Wars. It's their favorite franchise of all time. But other people will not be happy. Maybe some people want to make Titanfall 3. It's obvious we are not getting Titanfall 3 for the next decade unless it's made by another developer. No way. No freaking way, man. There's all these Star Wars games. There's Apex. There's this new IP that they got coming. So I don't know. I'm not really in love with this. If they show me, it's kind of cool the Respawn's getting into a strategy game. That's something new. Because they tried to make a Titanfall strategy game, if you remember right, and that never made it out. Maybe this Star Wars shooter is really, really cool. Multiplayer Star Wars shooter. Maybe they take another crack at it since Battlefront 3 is not happening. But this whole thing, it's equally scary as it is exciting, I guess is the best way I can put it. So that's my 2 cents on that.